Devotional listeners, now I request you to focus all your thoughts and attention on the topic of Navdha Bhakti, which is being disclosed to Shabri by Bhagwan Shri Ram. I would also like to humbly request that you check your cell phone if it's with you, and please make sure that it has been turned off. We have spoken about the first 6 principles of devotion as disclosed by Bhagwan Shri Ram to Shabri. This evening, 3 final ones need to be discussed. And so I will begin with the 7th one. Remember that Bhagwan Shri Ram is telling Shabri, his dear devotee, the steps of devotion. Or you can say the principles of devotional practice. Principle number 7. Satav sam mohimaya jag dekha mote sant adhik kari lekha. Bhagwan Ram says, Shabri, the devotee must look at the world and see me in it. He must regard the world as myself. Tulsidas ji says in his Ramayan, Uma je Ram charan rat vigat kam mad krodh nij prabhu maya dekhahi jagat kehi san karahi virodh. If the devotee sees, since the devotee sees God in the entire world, how can he seek enmity with anyone? How can he hate anyone? He sees God in everyone. He sees the entire world to be God himself. Isha vasya midagvam sarvam, says Isha Vasya Upanishad. Sarvam khal vidam brahm, say the Vedas. The entire world is nothing but God. Siya Ram maya sab jag jani, karau pranam jori jug pani. The devotee says, I look around in the world and I see the whole world to be Sita and Ram. So everywhere and before everyone, I bow my head while folding my hands. Jori jug pani. I fold my both hands and karahu pranam. I do pranam to everyone. Because the whole world is Sita and Ram. A gopi says, बाटन में घाटन में बीथिन में बागन में बेलिन में बाटिका में फूलन में बन में दरन में दीवारिन में देहरी दरीचन में हीरन में हारन में भूषण में तन में कानन में कुंजन में गोपिन में गायन में गोकुल में गोधन में दामिनी में घन में जहाँ जहाँ देखो तहाँ श्याम ही दिखाई देत मेरो श्याम छाय रह्यो नैनन में मन में. The gopi says, I see Krishna in the lanes of Vrindavan. I see him in the Yamuna. I see him in the valleys. I see him on the Govardhan mountain. I see him in my eyes. I see him in my mind. I see him in the flowers. I see him everywhere. Bhagwan Ram says, see the world as myself, O Shabri. And when we try to see God, when we make a sincere effort to see God in everyone, then what happens is that we cannot hate anyone. We cannot insult anyone. We will then even see someone who is doing something wrong and we will not hate him. We will hate what he's doing, but we will not hate him because he has God within him. We will hate the sin which is being committed, but we will not hate the sinner. There's a big difference. If we see God in everyone, or if we genuinely try to see God in everyone, then we become better individuals. Moreover, we want the grace of God. We say to God, Kripa karu, Kripa karu, Kripa karu Radhe. Oh, my Divine Mother, bestow grace upon me. Grace me. Bless me with your grace. God is sitting within every creature. And if we harm any creature, if we harm anyone, then God certainly will not be pleased. God is sitting within that creature, within that human or within that creature. And if we harm that creature, then we are harming God. How can we expect to be given the grace of God if we are harming his creatures? And so Bhagavan Sri Ram says, when you see the world, when you look at the world, don't think it's just Maya. Look at me. I am everywhere in the world. I am the world. The Vedas say, Eko Devaha, there is one God. And that one God lives within the heart of every living creature. Sarva Bhuteshu Gudhaha. Sarvavyapi, he is omnipresent. He pervades every particle of the universe, countless universes. And he is the one we ought to see. When we see the world, we see Maya. We say, there's this thing wrong with you. You've got so many faults. You have so many vices. This place is bad. This person is bad. There's this thing wrong over here. We see Maya. And for our benefit, Bhagavan Sri Ram is saying to Shabri, when you look at the world, see me, because I am everywhere in the world. And the second part of the seventh principle of devotion is Mote Sant Adhik Kare Lekha. Regard my saint to be greater than myself, O Shabri. Think of the Guru to be even greater than God. The Ramayan says, More man prabhu as vishwasa, Ram te adhik Ram kar dasa. Ram sindhu ghan sajjan dhira, Chandan taru hari sant samira. I firmly believe, says the devotee, that Guru is even greater than God. God is like the ocean, and the Guru is like the clouds. The ocean gives us water, but we can't use that water since it's salty. We can't drink it, we can't use it. And so the clouds absorb that salty water, then they render it sweet, and then the clouds provide that sweet water to all of us. Now we can use that water. We can drink it and we can use it for many purposes. Bhagwan Ram is the ocean. His saints are like the clouds. Indeed, we are grateful to the ocean, but are we not more grateful to the clouds? We are even more grateful to the cloud. We are grateful to God, but we are even more grateful to the saint who tells us about God and who puts us in touch with God, who takes us to God, who takes us by the hand and leads us all the way to God. I know that many people would disagree with this. How can the saint be greater than God? That is ridiculous and that's sacrilegious. To say that God is lower than the Guru and Guru is even greater than God. However, it is true that God is the greatest. Yasmat param na param asti kinchit yasman narniyo na jyayosti kaschit. Taittiriya Upanishad says that there is no one greater than God. God is God because there is no one greater than Him. Mattah parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. Shri Krishna says in the Gita, O Arjun, there is no one greater than myself. There is no one greater than God. There is no one greater than Ram. There is no one greater than Krishna. God is the greatest. But from our selfish point of view, from the point of view of our selfishness, the Guru is even greater than God. Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj says, Hari bhi dayalu kintu, Hari bhi dayalu kintu, Govind Radhe, unte bhi kripalu hai, Guru bata de. There's no doubt that God is merciful, but the Guru is even more merciful. Why? Because Guru accepts the fallen souls, and God accepts only those who are pure of heart. Tulsidas Ji says in his Ramayan, Nirmal man jan so mohi pava, mohi kapat chal chhidr na bhava. Bhagwan Sri Ram says, I want a pure heart. I accept only the pure-hearted ones. I just don't like deception. Mohi kapat chal chhidr na bhava. I don't like deception. I don't like a deceptive heart. I don't want all that cleverness, the cunningness. You become pure-hearted, become simple and pure-hearted, and then I'll accept you. We don't even realize how cunning we are. We don't even realize how clever we are, how artificial we are. We don't realize how impure we are. We don't even realize it. We have become so accustomed to it. There was once a man who was known for his cunningness. He lived in the times of kings and queens. So the king announced one day that his wife, the queen, was going to have a child. And the king threw a challenge to everyone in the kingdom that if you can predict the gender of my child, then I shall reward you very handsomely. But if you make a prediction and you are wrong, then I will behead you. So naturally, a lot of people were attracted by the offer, but then they became afraid of the consequences of a wrong prediction. So no one came forward. But there was one man who very confidently came forward. He had a plan, you see. He said to the king, O king, I'm going to predict correctly the gender of your child, but my condition is that you do not open my prediction. I will write on a piece of paper and then I will seal it. My condition is that the paper not be opened until after the queen has given birth. And the king agreed to this. Now this man's wife said, what have you done, you foolish man? What if you predict wrongly, then what? He said, I'm not worried in the least because I'm not going to be wrong. She asked, how can you be so sure? So he told her the secret. He said, what I have written on the piece of paper is Putro na Putri. Putro na Putri has 3 interpretations. If it is a baby boy, if it's a prince, then I will say, my prediction is correct. Have I not said? Putro, it will be a boy, na Putri, not a girl. If it is a princess, then I will say my prediction is absolutely correct because have I not said? Putro na, not a boy, Putri, it will be a girl. And God forbid if there is something wrong, if it's a stillborn, I will say, Maharaj, I already told you. I already written there. I have written over there that putro na putri, neither boy nor a girl. He has covered all the bases. He's very, very clever. Now, thankfully, we're not as clever as this man. But Bhagwan Ram says you must become completely pure of heart. Become absolutely guileless. Then I will accept you. But how do we become so pure? How do we become so pure? How do we become like a little innocent little child who is completely dependent on its mother? The newborn's diaper is wet, but that child doesn't do anything. It's up to the mother to figure out why the child is crying. It's up to the mother to check his diaper. Then she checks, and then she changes him. She dries him up. She cleans him. She feeds him. All he does is to just let out a cry. That's all. And the mother takes complete care of that child. We have to become as surrendered as that child, as a newborn child. How do we become that way? We have become very cunning. We have become very clever. We have become very artificial. Sri Maharaji says the only time that anyone is really natural is when they're on the toilet. That's it. Everywhere else, we are just artificial. Artificial. Going out of the house, let me put on a face. Let me put on my face. Let me brush my hair. Let me adjust the tie. Let me fix the sari. We're always making ourselves up. We don't even realize it because it has become such a habit. It's become the naturality. So now the Guru works with us. The Guru works with the impure ones. And he is like a washerman, says Sant Kabir. Kabir Das Ji says the Guru is like a washerman and the disciple's heart is like a soiled garment. The Guru is a washerman who takes the soap of knowledge and devotion and then he cleanses, he cleans that soiled garment and he renders that soiled garment clean. He renders the impure heart clean. He makes Herculean efforts. And all the while, he does not disclose what he has done for the disciple. The Guru is a divine teacher. The Guru is a divine instructor. The Guru is a divine guardian, the divine mother and father who takes care of the disciple. And he does not say, look, I've done so much for you. He does not reveal what he has done for the disciple. It is the Guru to whom we are even more grateful than we are to God, because the Guru is the one who cleanses our heart. The Guru is the one who gives us knowledge. The Guru is the one who teaches us how to practice devotion. The Guru is the one who tests us and takes us to the next level, then to the next level, then to the next level, until we go all the way up to God. The Guru is the one who embraces us. Guru is the one who, when there's a need, pushes us away and shows his anger. Shows his anger. He doesn't ever get angry because he's not under the control of anger. But he shows his anger when it's needed. He shows his affection. And he does not ever give up. We may give up, but the Guru does not give up. He takes the disciple all the way to God. And then he leaves that disciple in care of God. Then he says, my Lord, I've done my duty, and then he removes himself from the scene. The Guru he can be thought of as a purohit, a priest, who arranges or who performs a wedding ceremony between the boy and the girl, the young man and the young woman, and then he removes himself from the scene. The Guru is exactly like that. He arranges the union between the individual soul, the Jivatma, and Paramatma, the Supreme Soul. And then he leaves the scene. So we are definitely indebted to God, but we are even more indebted to the Guru who takes us to God. Bhagavan Sri Ram says, O Shabri, a devotee must regard his guru to be even greater than God. And now, the 8th principle of devotion. Bhagavan Sri Ram says, the 8th principle of devotion is Atham jatha labh santosha sapne hu nahi dekhahi par dosha. This principle is also divided into 2 parts. There are 2 parts to this principle. The first part is, O Shabri, the devotee must satisfy himself with what he has. The second part of the 8th principle is, he must never, not even in his dreams, see faults in another. First part, the devotee must be satisfied with what he has. Tulsidas Ji says in the Ramayan, the more you have, the more you want. He doesn't say it in English, of course. He says it in Avadhi. But we are familiar with this. The more you have, the more you want. We never seem to have enough. A person who earns $100 a day says, times are tough. When he starts earning $1,000 a day, he says, times are tough. If he starts earning $10,000 a day, he would still say, times are tough. I just don't have much money. The more we have, the more we want. We never seem to have enough. And so the scriptures tell us that the happy individual is not the one who has the most. It is the one who wants the least. The one who has very minimal amount of desires, he is the happiest because he doesn't really want much. The one who has so much, he's always unhappy because there's always something else to be had. Bhagavan Sri Ram says the devotee must always be satisfied with what he has. Now, when it comes to devotion, we must never be satisfied. We must never think, I've done enough. When it comes to serving God and Guru, we must never have this santosh or satisfaction. I've done enough. Now I can just sit down and relax. I have served God and Guru enough. There must always be greed, an ever-increasing greed. I want to serve God and Guru more and more and more and more. But when it comes to worldly attainments and achievements, it's enough. I have enough. I must practice more and more devotion. I must serve God and Guru more and more. But when it comes to worldly property, then the devotee must think, enough. I have enough. Jagadguru Sri Kripalu Ji Maharaj says, if you have enough money that you can eat 2 square meals a day and your family has enough to eat, 2 square meals a day for everyone in the family, then tell me, why are you trying so hard to earn more? Why are you working day and night, night and day? You have enough. You have enough to feed your stomach, and that's it. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad, Yavat bhriyeta jatharam, tavat swatvam hi dehinam, adhikam yo bhimanyet saste no dandamarhati. Canto 7, chapter 14, verse 8. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, O humans, you are entitled to as much wealth as is necessary for the basics in life. As long as your stomach is full, then that's all the wealth you need. All the wealth that you have used to fill your stomach, that is your fair share. Don't keep any more than your fair share with you. Donate the rest. Don't keep it with you. Don't keep it with you. Don't save it for the children. Let them struggle a little too, just as you have. Donate that wealth. Otherwise, it will pose great dangers for you. Always think, I have enough. I have enough. This is the first part of the 8th principle in devotion. And then Bhagwan Shri Ram says, Sapane hu nahi dekhahi paradosha. A devotee must not even in his dreams, ever see faults in others. Seeing faults in others clearly indicates that we are faulty ourselves. Padma Puran says there is a great danger in seeing faults of others. Parasya nindam paishunyam dhikkaram cha karoti yah yat kritam patakam prapya swapunyam pradadati sah. When you see a fault in another, when you see the faults of others, it is as if you are giving to those individuals all the virtues that you have in your possession. And it is as if you are taking all their vices. When we see faults with another, it is as if we are saying to him, brother, you take all my virtues, and all the vices you have, I will take. We assume all his vices, we give him all our virtues. That is what happens. So do not look at the faults of others. Do not see the faults of others. Always see God within the individual. Do not see Maya. Sapane hu nahi. Bhagwan Shri Ram says, not even in your dreams must you see the faults of others. Which means clearly that this is a very important point. Sometimes you see a sign, no parking here. Now, going to different countries, I see very unique signs and very humorous signs. Sometimes it's not enough to say no parking. Sometimes it says, don't even think of parking here. Sometimes it says, don't even dream of parking over here. What to speak of actually parking here? Don't even dream of parking over here. So don't even dream that somebody has faults. Don't even look at the faults of others, not even in your dreams. And this is the second part of the 8th principle. But let's do some Sankirtan before we continue. And I would like to tell you a very interesting story about Hanumanji, which pertains to the 7th principle. When Bhagwan Shri Ram says to Shabri, see the world as myself, see me in every particle of the universe. When Ram and Sita returned to Ayodhya after 14 years of exile, Bhagwan Ram gave very precious gifts to everyone who was in the court. Mother Sita saw that Hanumanji didn't get anything. So her heart was filled with motherly affection for Hanuman, and she gave him a very precious pearl necklace. Hanumanji received the necklace, he did pranam to Mother Sita, and then he took the necklace in his hand, and then he started chewing on it. He started trying to break it. Everyone around him scolded him. Mother Sita has given this precious gift to you. What are you doing? You're biting it? You're trying to destroy it? Hanumanji said, I want to see if my beloved Lord is inside. Because if he's not, then this precious pearl necklace is as worthless as pebbles to me. And those around him mocked him. They said, oh, so you're such a great devotee of God. Tell me, where is your beloved Lord? Is he within you? And Hanumanji said, yes, indeed. And Hanumanji tore open his chest, revealing to everyone that Sita and Ram were sitting inside his heart. And there's a bhajan that goes with it. And I'll sing a little part of it. चीर के छाती बोले अपनी पवन पुत्र हनुमान। चीर के छाती बोले अपनी पवन पुत्र हनुमान। मेरे मन में बसे हैं राम, मेरे तन में बसे हैं राम। मेरे मन में बसे हैं राम, मेरे तन में बसे हैं राम। Hanuman ji showed everyone that Sita and Ram dwell within his heart. Let us adore Bhakta Hanuman. He is a role model for us. He teaches us how to practice devotion to Bhagwan Shri Ram. Jai Hanuman, Jai Jai Hanuman. Jai Hanuman, Jai Jai Hanuman. Jai Jai Hanuman. Jai Jai Hanuman. Jai Jai Hanuman. 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 Jai Siya Ram. Jai Jai Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram. Jai Siya Ram. Jai Jai Siya Ram. 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 Jai 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 नवम सरल सब सन छलहीना, मम भरोस हिय हर्ष न दीना. Bhagwan Ram is now disclosing the ninth and the final principle of devotion to Shabri. Bhagwan Ram says the devotee must be saral, very simple, chalhina, guileless, without any deceit. So you see there's a little bit of a repetition here. Once again, as I had said one of the nights, that whenever there is an important point, there is repetition there. Important points are repeated throughout the scriptures. So Bhagwan Ram is again insisting that a devotee must be free of deceit. Saral sab san chal hina. Mama bharos, and he must have full faith in me. And he must not become very, very happy when he attains something in the world. Harash nadina. And he must not become devastated when things go wrong in life. The devotee must be simple. When Vibhishan approached Bhagwan Sri Ram, and he was so simple, he showed his simplicity. He actually said to Bhagwan Sri Ram, I have all these vices. I love to commit sins. I'm from not a very good family background. Ravan is my brother. He was so simple. He just told Bhagwan Ram his vices, even though he had none. Yet he said, I am Dashanan's brother. I am the 10-headed Ravan's brother. I am from Nishichar. My birth is in a Nishichar's family. In other words, a demon's family. I'm from a demonic family. And I love to commit sins. He just said this plainly. And his words are recorded in Ramcharitmanas. He is so simple. Vibhishan is so simple. Simplicity is dear to God. He just likes simplicity. He himself is very simple and he likes simplicity. Because likes attract. He is simple, he likes simple-hearted people. So don't be complicated, says Bhagwan Sri Ram. Be simple. And chalhina, be free of deceit. Be very innocent-hearted. Many misinterpret this. And they say, if I'm so innocent-hearted, then people will walk all over me. My co-workers will just chew me up and just chew me up alive. They will walk all over me. Is this what the Ramayana is saying? Is this what Bhagwan Ram wants me to do? Does he want me never to say anything? And just take whatever comes my way and never say anything, never complain. Just let people walk all over me? In fact, Bhagwan Ram is not saying this. Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj explains that humility, what Bhagwan Ram is talking about is humility, dinta. A devotee must be very humble, but that does not mean that he must show his humility at all times. There are times when he will need to show his strictness. There are times when he will need to show his anger. The trick is not to feel angry on the inside. The trick is not to become a slave of anger and frustration, but at the same time, showing it when necessary. So if you are at work and someone is trying to undermine all your efforts, you are not to think, well, just walk all over me. Here I am, just walk all over me. It doesn't matter what you're doing. No. Speak up, say something. Do not stand for injustice. But don't feel any anger on the inside, so that the heart may not become contaminated. So Bhagwan Sri Ram says, become innocent, become simple. And have faith in me, that I know what I'm doing. Oftentimes we second guess God. We think, my Lord, you're giving me this in life, but you shouldn't give me this. You shouldn't give me this illness. But everything he gives for a reason. Sometimes good health, sometimes ill health. Both are signs of his grace. He knows what he's doing. Sometimes he gives wealth and sometimes he takes it away. He knows what he's doing. There's nothing haphazard about God. He doesn't do anything haphazardly. That, just at random, I'm giving you good health, I'm giving you ill health, I'm giving you lots of money, and I'm taking all of your money away. I'm just doing things haphazardly. No, whatever he does is for a reason. Bhagwan Sri Ram says the devotee must trust me. Mama bharos hiya harashana dina. Have faith in me. So when I give you worldly goods, worldly property, do not become overexcited about it. And when I take it all away, do not become despondent and discouraged and sad. Have faith that whatever I do for your good. There's a story I've told many times, and I'd like to tell you once again. I read it somewhere, and it's a true story. It was a true account of someone who was living in a village. There was a man living in a village in India, and he got word that his father, who was living in a distant village, was feeling very ill, and perhaps he was going to die. So this man immediately made plans to travel to the village where his father lived. The problem was that there was only one bus that came. And so he was prepared. He was waiting for the bus for a good hour. But when the bus came, it was all full. And so the bus driver did not stop for this man. And the man became so despondent, and he became very angry with God. And he pumped his fist at God, and he said, "How could you do this to me? Why are you so cruel to me? My father may be dying over there, and you made me miss the bus. The bus was full. They could have accommodated one more person." So, muttering these complaints under his breath, he went home, and he lay down on his cot. And of course, there was no TV there, so he turned on the radio. And there were some songs being played. He wasn't really listening. But then the news came. And he listened. He was listening a little bit. And then he heard very devastating news. He heard that there had been a terrible bus accident. A bus which was full of passengers. It was overfilled, in fact. The driver lost control. And there was a terrible accident, and there are no survivors. The man sat up, then he stood up, and he found out by making inquiries that it was the same bus that he had missed. Earlier he was finding fault with God. Now he's shedding tears of gratitude. My Lord, thank you so much for making me miss that bus. We have no idea how God is gracing us. We have no way of knowing. And so it is in our best interest to just accept by default that God is always merciful. No matter what he does, he is just showing his mercy. When Bhagwan Shri Krishna was fighting with Kaliya, the serpent Kaliya, and he had defeated Kaliya, then the wives of serpent Kaliya prayed to Bhagwan Shri Krishna, and they said, "Maharaj, krodhopite nugraha eva sammataha." Your anger is nothing but your grace. Even your anger is a sign of your grace. You have graced our husband, Kaliya, so much. You have danced on his head. You have left your footprints on his head. How merciful you are. And yet people are seeing that you are angry with him. But in fact, you have graced him. Maharaj, krodhopite nugraha eva sammataha. Even your anger is a sign of your grace. Bhagwan Sri Ram says, a devotee must have faith in me. Sri Maharaj Ji writes, Shri Radhe Ju Hamari Sarkar Fikir Mohi Kahe Ki. I am protected by Radha Rani, my Divine Mother. She protects me at all times. Why should I worry? A devotee must have faith. And he must not become so excited that, oh, I got so much money. Oh, I lost all my money. He must not become despondent. He must always be even-minded. It is said of saintly souls, the ones who have attained God realization, the ones who have become divine, that ninda, stuti, ubhaya sam, that they treat criticism and praise alike. They don't get puffed up with pride when they are praised, and they don't become devastated when they are criticized and condemned. Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj says, today you people are folding your hands before me. You are giving me so much respect, but I don't take this respect to heart. I don't puff myself up with pride because of the respect that you're showing me, because I realize that tomorrow you may all throw stones at me. But even then, I will not be devastated. So if you praise me, I don't become happy. If you criticize me, I don't become despondent. Praise and criticism are both equal to the saint. He's always even-minded. He doesn't become overly excited. He doesn't react immediately, as we do sometimes. Oftentimes, we react. Someone says something, and we immediately retaliate. How dare you say this? We don't even hear what he has said, and immediately we react. A saint, he listens to this. Okay, all right. So you think I'm the devil incarnate? Okay, you're entitled. I am what I am. He doesn't retaliate. He does not react. And when people are saying to him, oh, Maharaji, you are greater than God. He said, "Theek hai, it's okay. So tell me, how are you feeling?" He changes the topic. And here people are crying, "Maharaji, you've come to Shringaberpur. It seems like Bhagwan Sri Ram has come again." Maharaji is saying, "And what's your name? And what do you do for a living?" He does not become affected. He does not react. So don't become overexcited, and do not become despondent. Be even-minded. This is what Bhagwan Sri Ram says is the 9th principle of devotion. And in this way, Bhagwan Sri Ram has disclosed to Shabri, not only to Shabri, but to the entire humanity, what ninefold devotion is, the 9 principles of devotion. And at the same time, Bhagwan Ram says to Shabri, Shabri, you already have fulfilled all these 9 conditions. You already have all these 9 qualities within you. In other words, what Sri Ramchandra Ji is hinting at is, I am telling the world by telling you, I don't have to tell you, you already are devoted, O Shabri. But I am telling you still because people will read about this and they will find out what the 9-fold devotion is all about. So 9-fold devotion is told by Bhagwan Sri Ram to Shabri. It's a very important part of the Ramayan. Many people think that Ramayan is just a divine story of Bhagwan Sri Ram. And that in itself is saying a lot. That is wonderful, that this is the divine story of Ram. But make no mistake about it. There is so much knowledge in the Ramayan that Ramayan says you cannot understand this knowledge by yourself. You must be guided by a guru. And only a divine guru, only a divine teacher, the guru, can tell you, only he can interpret the Ramayan correctly for you. Because the Ramayan is not just a story. So when we read the Ramayan, we should go ahead and read it from the story point of view. But from the knowledge point of view, we can't understand anything in it. For that, we need Jagadguru, Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj. We need the guru to tell us what is in the Ramayan. Tomorrow is the final day of Ram Katha, and tomorrow I shall talk about how to offer devotion to Bhagwan Shri Ram. Boliye Raja Ramchandra ki